What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 274. And we are covering one of the games that I have been asked to review the most over the last few years. An absolute banger of a gem. Fucking South Park: The Stick of Truth. And as most of you probably know, I am a huge South Park fan. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I remember when The Stick of Truth was coming out and it got delayed over and over, and developers were kind of just playing hot potato with it. And based on some of the previous shit South Park games that we gotten in the past, I think most of us were pretty skeptical about whether or not South Park: Stick of Truth was even going to be any good. Fortunately, the game turned out to be the fucking poster child for why game delays are a good thing. They finally got their shit together, and they ended up releasing not just a great South Park game, but a respectable RPG too. I don't think this game stacks up against other RPGs. If you know nothing of South Park, but you love deep, complex JRPGs, I really don't know if this game's going to scratch your itch, but if you have even a passing interest in South Park, whether you like RPGs or not, I feel like this game is worth playing. Like, there's enough RPG there for the nerdy diehards, and the fan service for South Park fans is just completely out the ass. It's ridiculous. I think I would go as far as to say that Stick of Truth set the bar for what a game based on what a big IP could be compared to like the old NES days and shit, especially. My God, this is incredible. At least it set the bar until the Fractured Butthole came out a couple years later. I think that game is better, but it absolutely set the bar for funny video games as well. I think the Stick of Truth might just be the funniest video game ever made. It is a literal season of South Park wrapped up in one video game, and it's magnificent. I fucking love this game. So I actually replayed it on my Steam Deck while I was sick a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so stoked to say that it holds up. It's so awesome, and we're finally covering it here on Remember the Game. My buddy Andre told me years ago that if I ever get around to talking Stick of Truth, he really wants to be here for it, so he gave me a shout, and we had a fucking blast talking Randy, Stupid Canada, those goddamn Mongolians, and of course, a whole lot of shit with the South Park: The Stick of Truth. And we'll get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of a whole lot of shit, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and all that kind of stuff. Fortunately for you, our fast travel works about as well as Timmy's in South Park does. If you do want to skip the intro, just go to about the 30-minute mark, and you'll be into South Park talk and all that. But hang around. Have a listen. It's fun. We talk video games and shit. It's good times. I do have to get my plugs out of the way. It's how I keep the bills on. Just have a listen quick here. We have hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, posters, all kinds of crap with incredible art designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative. You can find all of our merch at rememberthegamepodcast.com. If you're interested, it's a great way to support the show. And of course, if you don't want clothes, you can always just consider throwing us a couple of the old dollary dues over on Patreon. We offer 4 additional podcasts every week, ad-free, waiting for you. It's the greatest deal in the history of the universe. Every Monday, Mark McHugh and I talk The Simpsons on Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Every Tuesday, I talk about whatever the fuck I want on The Rambling Idiot. I talk comedy, TV, movies, sports, news, whatever is on my brain. Every Friday, it's Game Patch, where we look at all the biggest news in modern video games. And every Thursday, it's Expansion Pass, which is a different gaming show each week. Rankings, modern game reviews, comedy episodes. Lately, a lot of people have been commenting on the Am I the Asshole Gamer Edition, which was one we did on Expansion Pass a few months ago. It was a really good time. I love Expansion Pass. And this past week, on Expansion Pass, it was episode 186, and it was my long-awaited Spider-Man 2 spoiler cast. I broke down the entire plot of the game, how it ends, my favorite moments, the characters I liked, the ones I disliked, where I think the franchise could and should go with Spider-Man 3 someday, and I also talked about whether or not it made my shortlist for Game of the Year. I'm gonna break tradition and not play a clip this week. Most intros I give you a sneak peek at last week's Expansion Pass, but unlike most of my modern game reviews, this one really is spoiler heavy, so I won't spoil anything for anyone. But if you're done with Spider-Man 2 and you want to listen to a geek ramble about it for an hour, It's definitely worth checking out. That's available now in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 187. And I'm actually going to tackle a topic that I've been talking about covering for a few weeks now. If you don't know, my backlog from hell is almost empty. That was the backlog that consisted of all the sponsored episodes and all those types of things. And, no offense to our sponsors. You're not hell. You're all angels in my book. I love you. But I've been working on cleaning that line out forever, and it's almost done. And that means I can start tackling some of the games that I've wanted to play or replay to cover on Remember the Game for years and haven't had a chance. So this week's Expansion Pass is going to be 10 games I really want to play and cover on Remember the Game in 2024. So that should be a lot of fun. Again, subscriptions start at just $3 a month. You get new ad-free podcasts every week, plus instant access to hundreds of ad-free archive bonus podcasts right there on your phone. You'll never run out. It's insane how many are over. There's over 500 now, I think. Plus, you get access to the Remember the Game Discord, the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month, which will actually be starting later this week. Survivor poll, 8 games start, 1 game wins. That game gets an episode of the show. And we're doing Xbox 360 and PS3 titles this time. So that poll is going to get hairy. That starts this week. You can vote in that. You get the ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You can DM with me, and you even get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. Rob Payne, Justin Davis, Kyle says hello. Hello, Kyle. Vader Maximus, that's a powerful name. Cardigan Measures Wrestler, I like that. Chad Farmer, Shrews, Mike Effin Banks, Roman LaChance, and Gamer Elite. That was like the sexiest batch of names we've ever had. Fuck me. From Rob Payne to Gamer Elite. My God. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And finally, just don't forget, we donate 5% of our Patreon income to Extra Life every year. We already did that this year. It was fucking sick. Thank you. And we offer annual subscriptions that'll save you your 12th month's fees. And finally, I'm over on Twitch whenever I feel like getting on there, twitch.tv/rememberthegame. I've actually been playing through the new Mario RPG over there, so you should come by and say hi. It's free. That's the best price. Anyways, that's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Big Papa Grimace, who wrote in and said, "Hey Adam, I just listened to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show episode, and it gave me an idea for a new Mario show. Instead of the traditional Bowser kidnaps Peach, then Mario and company go and rescue her, how about a Mario Kart cartoon set up like the old wacky races? Each episode could just be pre-race shenanigans from Bowser and the Koopa Kids, then a race around some of the iconic tracks from the game." My God, Big Papa Grimace, I am going to dedicate every ounce of my willing things into existence powers I'm going to put them all, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this. I'm going to put them all toward a Mario Kart cartoon, because a wacky races style Mario Kart cartoon sounds like the greatest thing in the history of the world. I would watch the fuck out of that, because you wouldn't just have Bowser and the Koopa Kids plotting, but you'd have like Wario and Waluigi, and then we could just get rid of all the baby characters because they suck, and it would, holy fuck, dude, that is such an incredible idea. How has that not happened? Pitch that to Nintendo. Join the Yakuza, go through all the ranks, and then pitch that to Nintendo. Because I would watch the fuck out of it. Oh my God, that'd be sick. Mike, I don't even want another cartoon anymore. I don't even want another movie. Fuck the next Mario movie. Just give us the Mario Kart TV show. That's what I want. That'd be wild. Good call, Grimace. Well done. Start us off hot this week. Dark Joels said, do Canadians have Thanksgiving? Does it involve maple syrup and Nickelback? We do have Thanksgiving. We do it in October. Unlike you Americans that do it like 4 weeks. How the fuck do y'all go through 2 turkey dinners in a month? Because you do Thanksgiving at the end of November, and then like 4 weeks later you have to do Christmas. I don't know. Oh man, you guys are, your poor bodies. At least we have like a 2-month break. We do it in October, and then you have a couple of months to get it all out of your system, and then we do it again. But we do it Thanksgiving. We do it in October. Everything has to be covered in maple syrup. Gets kind of old when it's stuff like your stuffing in maple syrup is disgusting, but you have to do it because we're Canadian. As far as Nickelback, no. So I know some people would argue that like the Tragically Hip are a big part of it, and like, yeah, the Hip are okay. This is an Avril Lavigne house, and Sum 41, but mostly Avril Lavigne that we play here. I do like Nickelback though. Haters gonna hate. I don't give a fuck. I like Nickelback. Fuck you. Frank Kuistra, I hope I said that right, Frank, said, "Hey, Adam, so I recently obtained an old Atari 2600 with some games I used to play on it as a kid. I remember that my brother and I spent a whole day in our PJs playing Pac-Man until we rolled the score back to 0. At least the game either reset or crashed, don't recall exactly. Revisiting this game, I'm both impressed and shocked that we were able to survive a whole day playing it. What a monstrosity. And no in-game reward or surprise at the end, just the start of a new level with a tune that seriously scares all the animals in and near our house. Do you still remember the first game you finished as a kid and whether it was worth the playing time, sweat, and tears?" You know what, Frank? When I put this in to my notes to read it, I was so sure that the first game I beat as a kid was the original Super Mario Brothers, because I played that game religiously as a child. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, that game gets pretty hard at the end. Maybe with the warp zones I did. But we had a Game Genie when I was a kid too, and I'm wondering if I was only able to beat it with the Game Genie. So, well, I do think the first game I beat was probably Super Mario Brothers. I will say the first games I remember beating without Game Genie cheats were either Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, which I've talked about many times. It fucked me over. It was not worth the time, sweat, and tears, or all my birthday money. It fucking broke my heart. Or The Little Mermaid on the NES. I remember renting that once after seeing it in one of my gaming magazines, and it was a fine game. But I beat it that weekend we rented it, and to this day, I can only think of 2 or 3 games that like I rented and managed to beat because you only had a couple of days and those old NES games were hard as fuck. But The Little Mermaid wasn't too bad. So that one sticks out to me too. Shout out to The Little Mermaid. We'll have to cover that game on the show eventually. That one was worth the time, sweat, and tears because I thought it was finally going to give me a chance to live under the sea. But it didn't. God damn it. What was the name of the... Was Sebastian was like the crab or the lobster or whatever, I think? And then what was the name of the fish? Flounder? That little yellow fish? What the fuck was his name? I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, it'd probably be the Kirby's Dream Land, The Little Mermaid, or maybe Super Mario Brothers. But I'm willing to bet you I cheated at Super Mario Brothers. That feels like something that I would do. Hot Cheese Sauce said, "What gaming sales did you pick up this weekend? The PlayStation Store had a bunch of stuff on sale, and I finally decided to buy the Mega Man and Mega Man X collections. I've always had a fascination with the series, but never really played a lot of them, so I hope this will not disappoint and keep me entertained throughout the holiday season." You know what, Hot Cheese Sauce? As long as you are patient when it comes to tough old games, you're in for a great time. Definitely, if you don't like Mega Man 1, start with Mega Man 2. That's where the franchise gets good. Mega Man X, I've only played the first 3. My understanding is it kind of goes off the rails after that, but Mega Man X is a must play. Everybody needs to play that game. I hope you enjoy those. I'm actually still waiting on I'm recording this Monday night, and the Steam sales haven't gone live yet. I know some of you are like, "Oh my God, he's a PC kid." I am not. Nay. But I have a Steam Deck, and I love that thing. And I don't really buy a lot of indies on my Switch anymore because I just prefer using my Steam Deck. It's more comfortable to hold. So I usually buy my indies there. So I'm waiting till tomorrow to see if anything else goes on sale on that because that sale starts Tuesday, I think. But as far as my other systems, the only things I've bought so far are Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And these were on Xbox, and they were basically the same price on it and PlayStation. I don't know. I like my Xbox a little bit better. I'm sorry. Yell at me if you want. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Fuck you. South Park. I bought Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I bought Resident Evil 5. Excuse me. That I could replay for the show. That's one I'd like. That one, I don't know if that'll make an appearance on Expansion Pass this week. Oh, excuse me. Hang on. Still getting the old COVID out of the system. I'm like 90%, but my chest is full of like honey or something. It's fucking gross. I do want to play Resident Evil 5 again to get ready for a show. I also bought the Arkham collection because I need to replay Asylum and City, which I really want to play for the show. And I bought KOTOR 2 for an eventual episode of the show. So that's what I've bought so far. I'm kind of eyeing up the Mega Man Battle Network collection because I'd really like to play those, but I'd also kind of like to wait for a bigger sale. I don't know if 25% is going to cut the cheese. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'll wait and see what pops up on the Steam sale tomorrow, but I'll probably end up blowing more money on games I don't have time to play. Because that's what we do, because we're gamers. We're fucking nerds. Vader Maximus said, "Adam, I don't want to strain your powers of willing games into existence, but could you try to make a game drop out of the ether that's like Shredder's Revenge, but using the characters and locations from Letterkenny? It's a big ask, I know, but I'd shit my pants if it happened." Well, I don't need somebody with a name as powerful as Vader Maximus shitting their pants. That could be catastrophic. I'll meet you in the middle, Vader. I will use my powers, but I want a Trailer Park Boys game like Shredder's Revenge. I've never watched Letterkenny. I get yelled at for that a lot. I haven't watched Letterkenny. So I'll meet you in the middle and we'll go Trailer Park Boys. And then make Leahy and Randy playable characters. Oh my fuck, that'd be sick. I love that show. Impressive Beans said, hey, Adam, I officially got the email from PlayStation, and they want me to pay that small fee of $160 to keep my premium membership going. I got to say, with the price hike and the content, I don't see the value. So I dropped my membership to the bottom tier. The silver lining is I can now rationalize upgrading my Nintendo Online family plan to play all the great 64 GBA and other games I've been missing. What are your thoughts on the price hike? Is it worth it to you? Will you change your membership? Cheers. So if you don't know, yeah, I actually have a PS Plus premium subscription right now. I've said on Game Patch numerous times, I actually think in some ways, PS Plus has surpassed Game Pass for me. I still think Game Pass is the best deal in gaming because you get the big day one releases like your Starfields and your Starfields. Like, see, and that's the problem, is like every month PS Plus is tacking on 12, 15 games, and there's like, if you miss the PS4 generation, PS Plus Extra at least is totally worth your money. Because it is insane the number of games that are on there. Game Pass is great too, but to me the big selling point of Game Pass is big games day one, and they're just not releasing a lot of games right now is the problem. So I'm a big supporter of PS Plus. That said, I agree with you. The only reason I re-upped at Premium was because I got it 25% off. The Classics collection that PlayStation is offering on the PS Plus Premium tier, like the PS1, 2 games and the PSP games and shit, is a joke. It's terrible. I'm not impressed with it at all. So I think PS Plus Extra is worth the price, but I don't think Premium is. And if I don't get offered another discount when it's time for me to upgrade next year, then I will drop to just Extra. Because Premium is just, they talked a big game, but it's just not there yet. It's not there. Arrow Slonic said, hey, Adam, I just recently picked up a copy of War Tales via Xbox Game Pass, and unexpectedly, there was no tutorial. What's the jump button? What does R2 do? Kind of makes you miss buying a game as a kid, and on the drive home, you'd sit in the back seat and read the instruction manual at least twice through. Also reminds me of renting games and trying to figure it out, but back in those days, we only had 2 buttons and a D-pad. While having a little tutorial or a help section would have been nice to get a good start in the game, it was just kind of fun figuring shit out. With more games being digital, don't you think a tutorial should be mandatory? I don't know if I agree that a tutorial should be mandatory, like to have to play through it, but every game should come with a tutorial now. And a lot of them do, but I agree with you because it's not just digital, like even physical. Do physical games, I mean, I don't buy a ton of physical games anymore, but do physical games even come with instruction manuals? I know none of my Switch games have them. That's the one I buy the most physical with because I let that way Shaylee can play them too. I haven't bought a physical Xbox game in years. And I'm trying to think, I haven't bought a physical PlayStation game in a long time either, but like most games just don't have manual. I think every game should come with basically like an instruction manual in the game now. And I agree with you. There's nothing like sitting in the backseat as a kid and reading through the instruction manual, but those days are over. And now you're reading it on your phone while you're driving, which you shouldn't do, but don't do that. It's a shitty thing to do. Yes, every game should have an optional tutorial level. I agree. And finally, we got to move on. But before we do, it's letter time. It's letter time. Kodomo Jump said, what are your thoughts on Xbox removing support for third-party controllers? Having to play with someone's busted, transparent purple Mad Cats was a rite of passage back in the day. It was the gamer version of home field advantage. Well fucking said, Kodomo. You're right. You never used a broken controller. You always gave it to your friend or your little brother or sister. Fuck that. I got into this on Game Patch a couple weeks ago when Xbox announced it. If you don't know, yeah, Xbox is locking out a ton of third-party controllers and stuff. And we brought it up on the show, but I really think the biggest victims are the fighting game community, because if you bought one of those big expensive fight sticks and now it's not authorized by Xbox and you can't use it, I think that's going to drive players to PlayStation or PC, and I think it was a big fuck up. I think that whole decision is a big fuck up by Xbox. From a business perspective, I suppose I see the reasoning behind it. Why let people use third-party controllers that you're not getting a bigger piece of the pie from, if any piece at all, when you could force them to buy your controllers and your items? And apparently Xbox is planning to authorize more items in the future, or more controllers and more fight sticks and stuff, which obviously would make things a little bit easier for everybody out there. But I think this is just a bad look, because you're right, Kodomo. Like, we have been using knockoff controllers, Mad Cats, fucking whatever, as far back as like I can remember gaming. But far back as the Super Nintendo, I remember having shitty third-party controllers because my parents didn't want to buy a second expensive controller, especially because their oldest son was a spaz and would break them. So they'd buy the cheap controllers instead. And yeah, I just think it's a bad look. I think it's and I don't want to hear that they're like, we just want to, it's because people have brought up that it could be to eliminate cheating. And I see that argument, because people might have, third-party controllers that make it easier to play Call of Duty or fighting games or fucking whatever. But I don't, in my heart, I don't think that's why the Xbox is locking out third-party controllers. I don't think they're doing it to save us from the cheaters. I think they're doing it to get us to buy their controllers. So profits. And I think it's a bad look, and I do think it's going to bite them in the ass. And they're already, I love my Xbox. I love Xbox. But they're already in third place. And I think a move like this will drive some players to other platforms, which is the fucking last thing Xbox needs to be doing right now. So, no, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. Yeah, that's it. That's all our submissions this week. Thank you so much to everybody that wrote in. I'll get to a few more of them on the Rambling Idiot next week in our Leftover segment. But we got to keep the ball rolling here. Let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get there in just a minute. And this week we're talking South Park, so I went with 3 South Park duds from the old days. Chef's Love Shack, South Park for the 64 PS1, and South Park Rally for the Sega Dreamcast? I don't even know if that was on anything else. I never played it. But anyway, 53% said they would play Chef's Love Shack, remake South Park, and erase South Park Rally. That infuriates me. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Beaver Boy said lots of nostalgia with Chef's Love Shack. Hilarious, and I love the format. Would love this game to be updated and released on the current consoles in a dirty version of Mario Party. But I'm voting to play this one as it's the most fun of the 3 as it is. I'll remake South Park Rally as a themed Mario Kart alternative and erase South Park. This title hits soft, and thankfully they have found better ways to bring this franchise to life. Just do what Nintendo don't by creating adult content within this universe. Yeah, there is some of you wrote in to remake or do something with that that original South Park game where you're fighting all the turkeys and throwing snowballs. That game has no fucking reason to exist. I'm spoiling my erase, but I'm disappointed in any of you that are doing anything other than erasing that game. Chief Zombie Gaming said, this was really hard for me, but I would play Chef's Love Shack because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it doesn't need an update. That's bold. I would remake South Park Rally because a new South Park racing game would be rad, and I would erase the sandbox South Park game. I had to pick one, so that had to be it. It shouldn't even be that hard a choice, and I never even played Rally or Chef's Love Shack. But South Park doesn't need to exist. That game fucking sucks. Lotus said, I've actually played quite a bit of each of these games. I'm going to play Chef's Love Shack because it was a great stupid party game with mildly fun little mini games. I'm going to remake the original South Park because it was a great game. It just got boring with really only having turkeys to kill until the aliens for a sec. So maybe make it have a more diverse group of enemies, which should be easier now that South Park itself is more fleshed out. I mean, you make a good point, but I can't do it. And then erase that dumb kart game. It sucked then, and I can't believe it got any better. And if you want karts, go play Mario Kart like a civilized human being. All right, you saved it, because you're right. Playing Mario Kart does make you civilized. And sophisticated like me. Fuck yeah. Smoke Blower of the Rectal Variety said, play South Park Rally because I never have, and I love me some kart racers. Remake Chef's Love Shack because I think it could be a really good trivia game for South Park fans if it had questions from all the seasons the show's been running for. And erase South Park because we already have the Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole, which are way better. Yeah, no, fuck. Not even close. Like, I could fucking, like, the old, like, board games I used to make out of construction paper are better than South Park on the 64 and PS1. Fuck me. And Donnie the Dude Walters said, easy peasy, remake Love Shack into a modern Mario Party style adult game, play South Park Rally, because I never have, erase South Park. I spent hours playing this game. However, I understand that it sucks. I'm glad at least you understand that it sucks, Donnie. I'm actually going with 11% of you this week, one of our runner-ups, including Kugda, who said, play Chef's Love Shack as I never have. Remake South Park Rally, as with better graphics, more characters to choose from, the laughs could be endless. Erase South Park, as I've played it before, and it was good for laughs, but I remember the game was kind of shit. It wasn't kind of shit. It was full-blown shit. And that's exactly the right answer this week. I'm going to play Chef's Love Shack, because I never have, and I miss Chef the character. Hello there, children. I love Chef. I'm going to remake South Park Rally because I love kart racers, and a South Park kart racer would be fucking sick. And I'm going to erase South Park because it fucking sucks. And I beat that game for an episode of Remember the Game a few years ago, and it took years off my life. I never want to look at a turkey or play that fucking game again. A game it was so easy to make that game good. And they didn't. Fuck, I hate that game. Fuck you, South Park. Fuck you. That's it. Thank you, everybody. We're going to stop here. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, let them do their thing, and then when we get back, I'll tell you what I've been playing over the last 7 days, and we'll get into South Park, The Stick of Truth, okay? I need some water anyway, so we'll be right back after this. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. All right, what have I been playing over the last 7 days? The Mario RPG remake, which I've been playing. I'm planning to play through the entire game on Twitch. And then I may or may not upload the whole playthrough to YouTube. I haven't decided yet. But the game is fucking sick. If you like the original Mario RPG, this one is absolutely worth playing. If you've never played the original Mario RPG, this one's absolutely worth playing. If you hate the original RPG, Mario RPG, well, there's just no helping you. There's just nothing I can do. Game's awesome. I've also been playing the Callisto Protocol on my PS, with PS Plus, actually. And it's good. It's better than Dead Space. Or no, pardon me. It's better than the reviews, but not as good as Dead Space. Combat's getting boring now, but I'm interested to see how it plays out, and the graphics are incredible. And then I've been playing Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, which I guess, spoiler, is going to be next week's episode of Remember the Game. Number 275 is going to be our revisited episode on Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, which I haven't played in years, and I forgot just how good that fucking game is. Like, I know the baby crying is annoying, but what a great platformer. My God. Anyways, let's talk South Park, The Stick of Truth. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the spotlight. So let's see what a few of you had to say. Billy O. Blueslink said, as a big South Park fan, I knew this game was going to be funny going into it. What I didn't expect was it would wound up being a phenomenal game as well. The combat mechanics were clean, fluid, and fun, and it even had some platformer/puzzle scenes to complement the surprising amount of exploring you could do in the overworld. The timed hits, like Mario RPG, the often hilarious special moves always just kept the battles fresh, and of course, the farts. This game, for my money, gave you everything South Park fans had been waiting for, and even more. Great game. Can't wait to hear how Mr. Blank's new kid experience was. It was as good as the rest of yours. Well said, Billy Yo. I fucking love this game. Someone's attractive cousin said, I've been a South Park... I think that means that's fan. I've been a South Park fan for so long, I played the old PS1 games, and playing Stick of Truth was just what us South Park fans dreamed of. I've never laughed so much playing a game, and the way the game is laid out, it just looks like you're playing an episode of the show. It's so well done. Fractured Butthole, again, ticked all the boxes and even improved the battle mechanics, and I'm excitedly waiting for the next installment and interested to see how they approach it going to 3D. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this upcoming Snow Day 3D South Park game, because I don't know if I want it in 3D, but you're right. This, I'm going to buy it after Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. They've earned my trust. So, fuck, these games are good. Super Dave said, the Stick of Truth is a truly magical game. Every single aspect of the story and gameplay is polished to a comedic sheen, and the game is perfectly paced in its story and progression. I want to explore everywhere, but I also want to see what the hell could possibly happen next in the story. It's the best of all worlds. Agreed. I get into that on the show. I very rarely 100% games. I've 100% in Stick of Truth twice, because it's just so much fun to explore and do all the side quests are funny. The payoffs are there. Mandak said, my wife was actually the one that got me into this game, and I fell in love with it. Not only is it a great game, but it's absolutely hilarious. The combat was simple in nature, but hit that itch exactly where it needed to itch. Freaking awesome RPG. Well said. And Fallen Snow Kiku said, I've never really been much of a South Park fan. I like the show well enough, but I've only seen maybe a dozen or so episodes. I got this game on sale a year or two after it came out, since I heard it was a fun RPG, and I ended up being pretty blown away by it. Easily one of the funniest games out there, and it's pretty hard to do consistently good comedy in games, if you ask me. It is, dude. I'll put my cards on the table. It's just hard to do consistently good comedy. Based on that's coming from someone that's a comedian. Being funny is a fucking hard thing to do. And that they're able to do it for like 20 hours in this game and do it at such a ridiculously high level is just, I've said it countless times. I'll continue to say it because I truly believe it. I think Matt and Trey are geniuses, comedic geniuses. And this game is Exhibit A. Fuck me, are they funny. This game is funny, and it's time to talk about it. I'm so excited to finally be covering the Stick of Truth on Remember the Game. I'm going to cue up some music. And when it stops, my buddy Andre and I are going to talk South Park, The Stick of Truth, full of spoilers, by the way, be warned, which originally released on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 on March 2nd, 2014. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, I'm so excited for this fucking episode. Joining me this week via the blank phone to talk South Park, The Stick of Truth, is my good friend Andre. Andre, you asked me to cover this game like 2 years ago, and all it took was for me to get the stupid plague known as COVID to finally have time to replay it. And I'm so glad I replayed it because I forgot, A, how fucking hilarious this game is, and B, how good it is. So how are you, and why are you so excited to talk Stick of Truth?
Oh, dude. Well, South Park is easily one of my favorite TV shows of all time. We both grew up in that late 90s, early 2000s, and that show has only improved. And this and its sequel are the two best episodes of South Park ever made, in my personal opinion.
Buddy, it's... So, as I'm sure I'll have said during the infamous intro that I actually haven't recorded yet, but as I assume I'm going to say when I record it, we are going to spoil this game, so be warned. If by some incredible chance you're a big South Park fan and a gamer and you've made it this far without playing this game, thank you for the download. Pause this episode, go play the game, then come back and listen. Because I agree with you, man. I have been a fan of South Park since season 1, back when I was in high school, which makes me sound like old as fuck. But like, it is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. And I agree with you. Both the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole. And for the record, I really want to stay away from talking about the Fractured Butthole as much as possible because I love that game too. And I want to give it its own episode. Mm-hmm. But both of these games, I literally agree with what you just said. It's not an exaggeration. These are two of the best episodes of South Park ever made, because these two games are literally like playing an episode of South Park, and which I think is a big part of the brilliance of these two games. It's insane how well they captured the feel of the show. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's you are so immersed. All the characters play in such a wonderful way. Like Cartman is always it just, and I love that it's the warring factions again. I can't remember that it came from, and it came from the 3-parter episode that they did of these guys
Yeah.
for when they were doing the fantasy stuff. I love it so much.
Yeah, and like I've said this on the shows before, but if by some fluke maybe you're a newer listener, I'll put my cards on the table. Like I know nothing of like the Lord of the Rings or any. I haven't watched what was the HBO show? Game of Thrones. Like I haven't watched any of this shit. I'm a very uncultured piece of shit if you've never listened to one of my shows before. But I love South Park. And while I do like Fractured Butthole better, not only because I find the coon I fucking love that. I love that name. But not only because I like the superhero stuff better, but I like the tactical combat better. As someone that knows nothing of like Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, anything about the like mythology, fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, elves and wizards and all that kind of shit, it doesn't matter. I love South Park, and this game, like you don't need to know anything. I will say that, like, here's a question for you. If you're not a South Park fan, do you think this game's worth playing? Like it's funny, but as from an RPG perspective, I think this is a very mediocre RPG. Like the humor is what puts this game over the top.
Yeah, honestly, if you're not into the humor style that South Park gives you, because it's very specific in how it treats at world issues, everything.
Yeah.
It's you're going to. I don't think that you're going to like. And again, it's a basic RPG. It's there's some little elements to it, like you're upgrading your gear, but it's very simple upgrades to your gear, things like that. So it's not as it's not an in-depth RPG.
No,
Like
I've had people message me and be like, "Yo, I'm not a big South Park fan, but I love RPGs. Like, is this worth playing?" And like, it's not the worst RPG I've ever played or anything, but I would. You know what I think? Have you played the Paper Mario games, either the 64 one or the GameCube one? Like that's what these are. These are those level of RPGs.
yeah, it's an RPG that anybody can kind of really pick up and play without getting too swamped down with a lot of there's side quests or things, but all the side quests are pretty open end, easier things.
Yeah,
A lot
like
of it like that, but this game, while a decently fun RPG, really relies to keep you going. The weapons make references to a lot of South Park stuff. There's all these little things you do throughout the game that's so much reference that without being a fan, it will be kind of hard to play this game.
yeah, I think it can still make you laugh. Like it's just a funny. It's just I will say, if you are and this is not me talking. This is South Park. I'm speaking on behalf of the game. If you are Jewish and you are not familiar with South Park, and you're easily offended by people poking fun at your your religion, perhaps not the game for you. If you've never if you've never watched South Park, Cartman's a bit of an anti-Semite. He lays into it, but as long as you can just roll with the punches and just accept what it is, I don't think you need to be a South Park fan to find this game funny. But if you're literally just looking for a good RPG, I will like I'm gonna give this game a great score. I fucking love this game, but from as just an RPG, I honestly think it's like I think it's a 7 out of 10 RPG. Like it's not that deep. It's really not. Another thing is like, and we're gonna get into all the details, but like I wanted to ask you, like I replayed this while I was sick, and I actually turned it up to hard because I was finding it too easy, and even on hard, like I find this to be an incredibly easy video game.
Oh, again for an RPG, it's a very simple, easy game. If you know what you're, especially if you've played it, and that's the thing with this game. I played through it multiple times because I just love the story of it. I love the little stupid little things, playing the different classes, which I actually have never played. And this is not being offensive. The Jew class, as
the
Cartman
Jew class,
calls it.
yeah, I fucking love that. That's even an option.
That's the only class I've never played on any of my playthroughs, but it's very much a. It's very simplistic in everything it does. So like Yeah.
So we'll set the table. If you've never played the South Park: The Stick of Truth, long and short of it is you control a new kid that just moved to the town of South. I'm going to assume most people listening to this are familiar with the main characters of South Park. You're like a new kid that just moved to the town of South Park, and the kids are in the middle of this like weeks long game, as we all used to do when we were kids, where they're battling over the stick of truth, which is literally a stick. It is a twig that they found. And in their heads and in the rules of their game, whoever holds this stick basically controls the kingdom and can do whatever the fuck they want. And on one side, you have Cartman and Butters and Princess Kenny. I fucking love that Kenny is the princess. I love that they could have made Wendy the princess, but I love that Kenny. And every time I say the word Kenny in the words of South Park, I want to say Kenny, like Cartman does. But I'm like, I love that Princess Kenny is the princess. So on one side you have them, and they're the humans, and then on the other side you have Stan and Kyle and a bunch of the friends, and they're the elves. And Kyle is the leader of the elves, and Cartman is the leader of the humans, and they're feuding over who possesses the stick of truth and who's in charge of this kingdom while they're playing. And that's how the whole game starts, is you meet Butters, who's a paladin, and we'll get into the characters later. You meet Butters, who's a paladin, and you're the new kid, and you join Cartman's squad, and then you set off playing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like the whole game plays out over like 3 days.
Yeah, because
just going after this fucking stick.
Yeah, because you sleep. There's 2 sleeping points.
Yeah,
because you get your
and again, we're spoiling everything.
Night. Yeah, you get your shrinking powers on the second night, and you get your alien probe powers on the first night.
Yeah, so the first night you go to sleep, the aliens beam you up to a ship, and you save Randy from getting anally probed. and then you get a power, which we'll get into. And then the second night, the underwear gnomes come out and shrink you. And then by the third day, you have both of those powers. So that's the long and short of it. And then after a while, Cartman and Kyle end up calling a truce, and you all team up to take down, I think it's Clyde. Is it Clyde or Craig? I think it's Clyde.
It's Clyde. Definitely Clyde, yeah.
And Clyde has stolen the stick of truth after Cartman banned him from the game altogether. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And okay, so that's the basic long and short. And so the game is an RPG. Again, I relate it very much to Paper Mario or Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. You only really control the new kid, who is named Douchebag in the game by Cartman.
You type your name in, and he just says douchebag, and your only options is to say yes.
Yeah, and then you're forever you're douchebag, and then Sir Douchebag, and it just goes on, but you're always douchebag.
Yeah.
And then as you go into combat in JRPG fashion, like the Paper Mario games, you can pick one sidekick to take into combat with you, and it could be like Butters, Cartman, Kyle, Stan, Jimmy, or Princess Kenny. I think those are all the people, and they each have their own like abilities. We'll get into all those later, but that's the long, and basically that's the long and short of the game. And so to me, like when you're breaking this game down and reviewing it, like there's A is the story, the jokes, B is like the combat. And so I really want to start with just the story, the jokes, and the looks of this game. You mentioned it off the top. Dude, not only has this game got the humor of like a long episode of South Park, but I think one of my favorite things about this game as a diehard longtime South Park fan is I don't think this is exaggerating. It's remarkable how much this game looks and feels like you're just playing an episode of the show. It's insane.
Well, yeah, because it's inspired by they did a 3-part series. It was in 2013, because this came out about a year later. It's all from that series. They did it was Black Friday, Song of Ass and Fire, and Titties and Dragons. If you've watched those episodes, we get to play that.
Yeah.
It's so
I can't think like I've played a lot of Simpsons games, and I can't think of another time that a TV show was made into a video game and the game looked so much like the TV show. And I mean, honestly, like, let's all put our cards on the table. Like, I fucking love South Park, but it looks so primitive with the way the characters like walk. There's no steps. They just kind of hop along, and that classic South Park art style, like it lends itself so well to a video game. But even so, it's really wild. Like Shaylee walked in on me playing it a couple of times. Like I was playing my Steam Deck, I showed it to her, and she's like you would swear that I was just watching the show. It is identical to watching the TV show. It's insanity. I love it.
Again, everybody like Trey and Matt wrote this, and then they performed everything, and other actors that perform on the show. Don't get me wrong; it's not just them, but the fact that you had the creators being so hands-on in this one and in the sequel, writing the stories, performing the characters. They didn't just hire a bunch of, there's a story of Mark Hamill did the voice of Wolverine in the X2 video game, but it's not some random person brought in to do of these voices. It's everything the TV show is.
Right. Yeah, and I think that Matt, like I, as a comedian and as just a South Park fan, I legitimately look up to Matt and Trey, like the two creators of South Park. Like I think they are geniuses. I think they are comedic geniuses, and I legitimately have a ton of respect and admiration for the two of them. And they're also gamers, and you can see that they were so hands on. Because like, dude, did you ever play the old South Park game, like the one on the 64 and the PS1, where you fight the turkeys?
Yeah, I was your guest when we reviewed it.
Right, and that game fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And this is like, it was like Matt and Trey were like, we're not going to let that happen to our. We've done enough shitty South Park games. Let's make a good one. And so, like, we're going to get into the humor and stuff, but I have to just say, I love how much this game looks like South Park. And not only does it look like South Park, but I got to tell you, dude, as someone that's been watching the show for 20 years, like when this game came out, or 15 years or whatever the fuck, getting the chance to explore the town, like to finally get to see the town of South Park for the first time and see where the school is in relation to the kids' homes, and where Token's house is, and where City Hall is, and where City Walk is. And like, that's legitimately one of my favorite things about this game. And I usually hate exploring in JRPGs because I get bored of it. But as a South Park fan, I loved just walking around the city or the town of South Park and seeing all these landmarks and everything. I thought that was one of the coolest things about the game.
Yeah, and again, this show has always been about a small town in Colorado. This town is literally like 3 streets high, and
it's tiny.
And then you can literally walk through a forest to get to Canada. Like,
yeah, which we'll get to, because as Canadians, that was honestly one of the highlights of the game for me too.
Oh, so good. So goddamn good.
Yeah, you're right. So like, you basically, and the best part is like, Colorado's not even on the fucking border to Canada.
No.
But in this game, you walk 3 blocks past a farm and then you're at the border to Canada. And then the Mountie won't let you in unless you have your passport. But we'll get to all that. Oh my god. I love the way it looks. I love walking around the town, and of course, we'd be remiss if we did not mention like the sheer, like, this game is South Park fan service to the nines, because it's not just dealing with Cartman the Wizard and Princess Keaney and Paladin Butters and Stan, who's I think like a knight, and then Kyle, who's like the elf king or whatever. But it's not just dealing with them, but it's like you run into Mr. Mackey, you run into Randy, you run into Mr. Slave, Mr. Garrison is around. Like the sheer number, Ike's around. Like the mayor is there. You get to deal with Father, what's his name?
Father Mackey.
Thank you, Father Mackey. Yeah. Jesus is a fucking summon.
Yes.
In this game. If you unlock Jesus, you can summon him once a day to help you. Like, it's not just the Al Gore. One of the side quests is helping Al Gore take out ManBearPig.
Oh, I hate and remember the first time I played through it, I couldn't beat Al Gore.
I think he's one of the. So at the very end of the side quest, it turns out that Al Gore. We're just spoiling. I don't even care. There's no method. There's no rhyme to this episode at all. Al Gore is hiding behind the movie theater wearing Groucho glasses, yes. and then if you take on his side quest, you have to plant all these radar rocket things to help him find ManBearPig. Then you go to his hideout, which is in like an old like storage unit, and you have to like unfriend him from your Facebook because once you start friending him, he just starts. It's so annoying. You're playing through the game and it's just pop up, pop up, pop up, pop up, pop up,
Oh,
all
that
from
was so
fucking Al
annoying.
Gore. So then you finally go and like break up with him. Then you have to fight him with the Secret Service as like his lackeys who are like, we have to protect the kind of former vice president. And then after you defeat him, then you have to go actually fight ManBearPig, and it's just Al Gore in a costume.
Yeah.
And it's one of the hardest fights in the game. That fucking ManBearPig.
Well, not even it's. I found like I could never get like in the first time. This is years ago when I first played it. I couldn't get past the Secret Service one because I wasn't doing it right, and the Secret Service just kept killing me, and they kept all regenerating, and then later later playthroughs I figured how to do it and play and get past them. But god damn.
It's one of my favorite things about this game is it's one thing when you're like the kids fighting the kids because you can kind of like suspend belief and be like, oh, they're just kids playing, make believe.
Yeah.
And like Butters' hammer, like Butters' weapon is a literal hammer. He's got like he has a hammer. Cartman is a master wizard, and all of his magic spells are like lighting his farts on fire. Like that kind of shit. You're like, all right, that's just kids playing make believe. I get it. But then you're right. You're literally fighting Al Gore and like the Secret Service with Butters and his hammer and using these fart spells. And I don't know, like the way they kind of blur the line between reality and just these stupid jokes actually adds to the hilarity of the fucking game, in my opinion.
Oh,
fucking Al Gore kills me. He's
dude,
super serial. Fucking kills me.
It was just he's such a funny point in this game where it's just like, why is this man like? And I love that they pulled it in because it was right around the time they were making fun of him so hard for the whole ManBearPig.
ManBearPig. It's impossible to reference every joke in this. Like I'll say it right now. I should have said this 20 minutes ago when we started, but like I'll say it right now. I genuinely feel that the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole are the two funniest video games that I've ever played in my entire life.
By far.
Like they are so this game, like from I don't even know where to start. Some of the things, and I want to know like some of your favorite things, like some of the things that made me laugh in this game early on in the game, like you're trying to build up your army with Cartman to take on Stan and Kyle. And they're like, you have to go recruit Tweak, Token, and Craig. And Token is at his like mansion home, and you have to go get a gas mask to get by his gate security guard who keeps macing you, even though you're just a kid that wants to play with his friend. And then Tweak, you have to get from the coffee shop, but to get him, you have to go to the shack behind Kenny's parents' house and get the like crystal meth that they're putting in their fucking coffee.
That was the best. That was so good. The fact that they're brewing their coffee with meth.
Yeah, and then Craig, you have to break out of detention, and that's my favorite one.
Because that's a giant war, yeah.
Yeah, I love that Mr. Mackey is running detention, and he's like, all right, well, your friends aren't going to save you, fucking Craig. And he's actually swearing at him, because like, you're in detention, Craig. And Craig's like, I'll be out of here in 5 minutes. No, you fucking won't, Craig. And he's getting so mad. And then you end up breaking him out of detention. And as you're running out of the school, Mr. Mackey just comes running out of the doors of the school. And he's like, fucking Craig, as you're running away.
Well, and you have to get past all the ginger kid hall monitors.
Yeah,
and then you have to fight the big one. Oh my god.
It's so that made me laugh. When you're on the alien ship and
oh my god,
and Randy is getting anal probed, and he's asking you to like, and Randy is literally on his hands and knees with his pants down with this giant like dildo behind him, and you're like trying to like type into the computer, and you have to do like the Simon Says.
Yeah.
Where like it beeps A, so you press A, and you have to like follow the combos to get Randy out. If you screw it up, the dildo comes in and just wrecks Randy. And the best part is right near the end when you go to save him, the combo shows up on the keyboard and it's like beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 like something that no one could ever follow that quickly. And so you kind of guess at it. And then when you get it wrong, this dildo just destroys Randy. But eventually you save him from the spaceship and then you just become friends with Randy later on in the episode.
Well,
Or the show, excuse me, the game, excuse me.
Well, I also love like when you are first captured, they're trying to anal probe you, and your butt is so strong it breaks like
Yeah.
multiple anal probes, and then then your ass absorbs the anal probe to become this little antenna thing that comes out like almost like Cartman in a
Yeah.
sense to like
Yeah.
so you can start like teleporting.
Yeah, like, well, actually, one of the things I like about the game is that it's almost got a hint of a Metroidvania to it. Like,
Yeah,
as
100%.
the like, because early on in the game, you're seeing things and you're like, I don't know how to use that or how to react with that. And by the end of the game, you've got this teleporting device that broke off in your ass that can come out and react with alien like antennas to teleport around the world. You have all these different ways that you can use your farts to interact with the world. Like, you slowly unlock these new abilities that let you travel around. I love that. Because I love Metroidvanias. And so it gives you a reason to keep traveling around this town, to use these new abilities to go back to areas and break into places and do things. I do, going back to some of the shit that I think is fucking hilarious, that the alien ship crashes into South Park and that first night, and then the government shows up and tries to tell everybody it's a Taco Bell that they're building.
And everybody believes it.
Yeah, and it's this giant UFO on its side in town. And everyone's like, oh, it's a Taco Bell. Because there's one part right near the beginning of that where you go up to the crash site and one guy is just like, are you going to serve the cheesy gordita crunch? Or whatever the fuck it is. And then one of the government officials is like talking into his headset. And then whoever the boss is like, no, take him out. He's asking too many questions. So then a sniper just shoots him. And everyone just is like, this is fine. Like, this is no big thing.
And then, like throughout the game, when you go home and tell your parents, your parents are like, "Do you hear we're getting a Taco Bell in town?" And they're geting all excited about this. Everybody, like all the adults that are like ancillary, are getting excited about Taco Bell throughout the entire game. It's so good.
It's so good. I love. There was one point where I was just walking around town and I got a random message from Butters' dad on my Facebook, and I open it, or whatever the fuck it is, like the social media thing in the game. And you open it and read the message from Butters' dad, and he says, "Hey, sorry about Butters. Nothing in particular, just in general. Sorry about this." It was fucking hilarious.
It's those little jokes that pop up.
Yeah,
that you love, where they're just and like just those little things. There was one where Token makes a comment, and then Cartman says, "No, you're a blacksmith," and he's calling him, "You're a blacksmith."
Yeah,
it's just oh,
it's so good. Fucking
it hits the humor perfectly.
The boss fight where the underwear gnomes shrink you, and then you have to fight the chief underwear gnome on your parents' bed while they're having sex.
Yeah, your mom's boob is like over the fight, and then every now and again you have to dodge your dad's balls.
And then, of course, like maybe the most infamous fight in the game is fighting I can't believe I'm saying these words, the giant Nazi zombie fetus at the abortion clinic.
God.
And it's
was this the one with the bomb? This had the bomb, right?
The bomb.
Was it, or am I thinking of the other one?
I don't think there's a bomb in this one. I think that's in Stick of Fracture
Butthole.
Butthole.
No, Fracture Butthole. Okay, so that's the one where I hate. I hated those controls, by the way. But yeah, dude, this is the giant fetus you have to fight
because that's what the crashed spaceship does. It's not turning everyone into aliens, and it's not turning everyone into zombies. It's turning them into Nazi zombies. So then they're literally walking around town with swastikas on their arms, yelling these fucking.
Well, and that is a complete shot of Call of Duty right there with the Nazi zombies. That's just like that. Because again, those games had been Nazi zombie mode was huge at that point too.
Oh, so fuck me. It's so good. And then like we won't spend the whole episode just talking about the funny things, but like we'd be as two Canadians, we'd be remiss if they didn't mention that you get to go to Canada. And I think as a Canadian, first of all, like the way that the show depicts Canadians with the like heads that open up and talk and like that stupid accent they give us that and everything. I love it. I love the way South Park presents Canadians.
And before we talk about Canada, getting your passport is just messed up.
Oh fuck! We have to go like the
photo dojo.
Yeah, you have to go down.
It's a pedo. It's just
yeah. Fuck, and he's like. And he's just trying to get your picture taken, and he makes you take your shirt off and take your pants off and fuck me. And then you finally get your passport, and then you go to Canada, and then Canada is just like a classic 8-bit Dragon Warrior style RPG.
Dude, it's so good.
And all you can do is you can go from Ottawa to Winnipeg to Banff to Vancouver, and you're just walking across this stupid country.
Like all those cities are so close together, right?
Yeah, they are all just walking distance.
I go to Vancouver every second day, you know?
Yeah, it's just down the street.
There.
Yeah. I loved it. I remember when I played this game for the first time, when we got to go to Canada, and it was like the classic throwback RPG, and you're fighting like bears and wolves and shit. I fucking killed me. Oh my god. Okay, so
good.
We still have to get into the characters. We still have to get into the combat and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about. It's already been. I feel like is there before I add, because like there's so many jokes in this game. Before we move on, we'll go to the break and then we'll go to this. Are there any is there any particular jokes we've missed that you want to shout out? If there's not, it's fine. But I feel like I'm rambling.
The backstory of you is the fact that everything's hidden about you, and you have the ability to make friends, and just the. I guess we'll talk about it with
but like you're right. Like, is your parents are like or the FBI or whatever?
Your parents are assholes, man.
Yeah, like he's got an uncanny ability to make Facebook friends. I've never seen anything like it, and that's.
And then they're like the way they act to you when when you come home and they say comments and they're like they expect you to say something and they're just like no. And it's just like you're ignoring your parents, and they just get annoyed. It's
because douchebag never says a word, until the very end of the game.
Yeah, till the very end.
He never says a word. Okay, so we've clearly covered that this game is fucking hilarious. We'll get into the combat, because I will say if I have a criticism of the game, it's some stuff in the combat. We'll get into that. We'll get into some of the characters and stuff and all that in just a minute. We've been going for half an hour already, so let's pause. We'll take a break now. We'll let the sponsors come in. And then, assuming I haven't been canceled, we'll be right back after this. Okay, so we'll get into the combat. Like we mentioned off the top, it's like Mario RPG in the sense of it's basically you playing as douchebag, and then you get to you can have one friend with you at any given time in a fight, and they all have different abilities. When you start the game, you get to pick a class, and it's what is it? It's warrior, thief, Jew, and like wizard, I think.
Yeah, the fighter / warrior. Yeah. There's a mage, there's a thief, and there's Jew.
Now I haven't played this game in a long time. Oh, I just played it for the first time since it came out, and when playing it this time, I played as the thief. Mm-hmm. Have you got a preferred class? You're a thief as well, yeah.
I literally played through on fighter this last playthrough, and I think this is my new go-to class. I've played a mage. I played thief. I think more times than not. So I like the weaponry, but I just like the brutality and the abilities for the fighter are kind of awesome. Like your first ability rocks.
So and that's what I wanted to ask you. So because when you play the game, if you again by some fluke if you've never played it, I'm playing it at least on the Steam Deck, which is the Xbox version. Whenever it's your turn to attack in a fight, you can just do like your standard basic attack with your weapon, and then it's got that timed hit mechanic where it flashes when it's your turn to attack, and then if you hit the button at the right time, if you hit A, you'll do multiple weaker attacks. If you hit X, you'll do a couple of stronger attacks, or you can hit Y, assuming you have mana, which is your magic, and then you'll actually combine farts with your attacks to make them stronger.
Yeah,
which is most of the magic in the game is farts.
Yeah, I played on Switch. The X and Y are reversed on Switch. It's
right.
Switch is X for farts. So yeah.
And then in addition to your basic attack, each class has like abilities. I played as the thief, and I will say that like one of your abilities you start or you get early on in the game is Mug, where you'll basically go into the back row of the enemy, hit one of them, steal an item from them, and as you start leveling it up, you'll actually stun them as well. And it's actually overpowered as fuck because you're stunning enemies and like it's making the game even easier. What's the abilities with the fighter? I don't remember playing as that.
Yeah, my favorite is the first ability. It's called Assault and Battery. You literally have a bat and a baseball. You throw it up in the air. If you miss the ball, you hit the person you're hitting and you hurt them. But if you actually hit the ball, you hit the ball into the person behind them.
Oh, sick.
So you hurt the person you're hitting with the bat, with this metal bat, but you're also hurting the person behind him with the ball.
I love
It's
it.
just this like mean ass move. And then there's
It's
another one where you just run up and kick him in the balls.
just straight up Rochambeau him. I
It's
love it.
literally called
Fuck yeah.
Rochambeau.
It's called Rochambeau. Of course it is. Like, it's just the fan service of South Park fans is fucking ridiculous. And then in addition to like your basic like wet like sword or whatever, you also have like like a distance weapon, and it can be a bow and arrow, it can be a basketball, it can be a dodgeball, and you throw it at enemies. And then in addition to that, you've got your access to your actual magic, which throughout the game are just a bunch of different kinds of farts that you unlock. And then you've got like access to your items and stuff. But then you also have one counter or one party member that's in combat with you as well. And like I said, you start the game with Butters, and then as the game goes on, you unlock Cartman, Kyle, Stan, Kenny, and Jimmy. And I wanted to ask you, like, so Butters is the paladin. I actually found Butters to be very useful because he's a paladin. He does a lot of damage with his attack. His go-to ability is he'll heal you. And then his like secret ability or whatever you want to call it, his personality ability, is that he's so unlikable that enemies are inclined to attack him first. So you don't get attacked very often because the enemies usually attack Butters, which is such a fucking hilarious ability to give this poor kid.
Yeah, my go-tos, because like I very much am all about just the offense in the game, are my go-tos. I like using Butters or Stan.
Stan,
because they're just the straight up fighters.
Yeah, Stan's just a straight up tank.
Yeah,
like he'll do a lot of damage, and then Stan can also call on his dog Sparky, to do damage to enemies too. I love Princess Kenny, like the character, but she's an archer, which doesn't do a lot of damage, I find, through most of the game. And then her other ability is she'll lift up her dress and show the enemies her tits, which will stun them. But she's like a young boy, so it's just nipples. And I love, like, I want to use more of Princess Kenny because I think the character is so funny. But I actually found her pretty useless in combat, by and large.
Yeah, they're not really... A lot of them are just kind of basic in their usage.
Yeah, like, and the thing about it is, like, for the first 2/3 of the game, you basically are choosing between playing with Stan and Kyle or Cartman and Butters, and you lose access to the other two, whichever side you pick. And I gotta say, like, Stan's a nice tank and he's useful. I actually find Kyle pretty useless, like, as the archer. I don't really use him very much at all.
Again, no, me either. I only used it when I was forced to.
Right. Butters is helpful. Kenny's pretty weak. Jimmy is like a bard, and his music is supposed to inflict like status ailments on the enemies. I didn't really use Jimmy. I think Jimmy is a fucking hilarious character, but I didn't use Jimmy very much in the game. I actually found Cartman. Dude, Cartman's magic in this game is powerful as fuck. Lighting his farts on fire, he'll fuck people up.
Oh yeah, he's got great, like, his abilities in here are great. I usually just weirdly default to Butters or Stan because just for general fighting alone, right?
Yeah. So. The tricky thing about Butters is, like, he has the ability to heal you, but he also attracts the enemy's attacks. So I don't find that I'm taking a lot of damage because Butters is taking all the damage. So, like, I'm like, I don't need you to heal me because you're the one taking a beating, you know? But I like that you get to use all these characters and they all have their own abilities and they do all play differently, which is nice. It's just some of them are definitely more useful than other ones. The one criticism I have of this game is the inventory system. Like, you equip one melee weapon, one distance weapon, and then headgear, armor, and gloves. And then on most of your equipment, you can attach at least one. They call it strap-ons in the game. And you can attach like at least one strap-on, and it might be do gross damage, which is like poison, or do shock damage, or gain ability points, which is PP in this game, like gain them back every turn. I don't know about you, dude, but like I'm playing through this game and I'm like, I must have had 80 badges or strap-ons, excuse me, at the end of the game, and I just didn't use like 9/10 of them.
No, a lot of them I throw away because it's like get some PP back or gain a little bit of mana. But like I was using, like, right now where I'm at in the game, I'm using one with my rod of major boobage, I have the frost. I have the add 50 frost damage, which actually slows them, so
Yeah.
you get extra attacks before they get to attack. And
Yeah.
like I use like there's one I'm using with like heal 50 HP every time you attack and things like that. So I'm like
Yeah.
I found a good combo of them, and you keep getting better versions of them throughout. But yeah, it's and like there's ones that can like make them bleed. Like they're one was like one of the strap-ons was literally called beer bottle, and it was like caused 25 extra damage and bleed. I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's like, they're funny. I just found that, like, I get that they're doing the whole RPG thing and they're trying to give you customization, but it's not just the strap-ons. I feel so weird saying that. It's not just the strap-ons, but, like, even just the weapons. Like, you end up with it felt like one of the things I hate the most about playing JRPGs is managing my team's loadout and my team's, like,
Mm.
equipment and armor and weapons and shit. And, like, this game is constantly throwing weapons and strap-ons and armor and junk, dude. You end up with so many items to sell in this game, and it's almost like playing fucking Skyrim in the sense of like the sheer amount of shit you can pick up and just sell that's useless
Oh, very
throughout the
much so.
game.
Very
And
much
then
so. Yeah.
and even your healing items, like, because you heal with like food items like tacos, and water is like your antidotes and shit like that. And I don't know about you, but like I had so many items that it just makes the game easy because you have so many items to use.
Yeah, you're never in trouble. And like certain points when you get so much like stuff put on you, like you get like 2 defense downs, a attack down, bleeding, like you're sick. I'll just let a character die and then use the taco to revive them because I got one of the perks you can get is when you use a revive, you come back at full health. There's like
Yeah,
little perks you can get on top of your abilities, and
yeah,
I put that one on, and I would just let the person die, revive them using the other character with a taco, and then they're back to full health, nothing wrong with them, and you're just going again.
yeah,
Those
totally.
kind of things do make the game fairly easy.
But and like I'm torn on if I think it's a down, because like I do think the game is too easy, but like the whole I'm not playing it. There's so many RPGs. Like if I want to play a deep, challenging RPG, I have infinite options.
Hmm.
I have very few options that are just a funny South Park game. So like I do think the game is too easy, but I also don't want to ding it too hard for it because I'm more interested in just getting to the next stupid side mission or stupid cutscene and seeing what it's gonna do, as opposed to like chasing the holy grail of tough RPGs. You know what I mean?
This is an RPG where you want to see the cutscenes. You
Yeah.
want to like that's what drives this game more than anything is the cutscenes and the interactions you have with with other characters and in the things you do. That's what
Yeah.
really drives this game.
Agreed. Yeah. And so like it's not even a knock to me. It's just it is like, I always use this stupid analogy of like they have 100% of a pie and how much do they want to put into graphics and music and controls. And like clearly half of the pie in this game went into humor, and then they were like, we'll figure out the rest later. And it's fine. It works. It
Hmm.
worked. I think what makes this game successful, like, I'll ask you this: if they had pulled back on the humor to make it a deeper RPG, I think would it have succeeded? Because I don't think it would have. Like, as I think it would have just gotten lost in the shuffle of RPGs. Like the
Yeah,
humor is
because
what makes it good.
yeah, without the amount of jokes you have, without the amount of references and the amount of making fun of a lot of stuff that they do in this, you don't get that this game. You
No,
don't
not at
need it
all.
to be deep. Even when you play Fractured But Whole, while a different play with a tactical style,
Yeah.
it's still not super deep. Again,
No, it's not.
but the
I think it's deeper
stories
than this one,
it's
but
deeper
it's
than
still
this,
not.
but
It's
the
still a shallow
stories
fucking pool.
yeah, the stories
Yeah.
are so it's the story that's deep. It's the
And
story that really fuels this game more than anything.
agreed. Yeah. Like, because especially like once you get good at because it does have the timed hits, the timed blocks.
Mhm.
Like a lot of you are probably playing Mario RPG right now, like that kind of stuff. It has all that. And once you get the timing of that kind of stuff down, like it is such an easy game, but it doesn't matter. It's fucking
Mhm.
hilarious. I never 100% RPGs. And both times I played this game, I went through and did everything. Like every side quest, I'm exploring the town. Because that's one of the great things about this game is like it's got the main story, but it's got so many funny side quests. And they are like, they range from you have to go see the mayor of South Park who asks you to chase all the homeless people out of town. So you have to find all of them and fight all of them to chase them out of town. You dude, you have to go fight the Mongolians on behalf of the City Walk guy.
Oh, in the Tower of Peace?
In the Tower of Peace. And he's like, I love that they're eating at the City Walk. And he's like, oh, hello, Mongolians. And then as soon as they look away, he's like, I hate those fucking Mongolians. It's so stupid.
With Jimbo, you have to go and hunt down all these different weird creatures throughout the game. Literally, one of them is just killing a cow.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one that's like a mouse with a penis on its head and stuff like that. But then once you fight all of like you have to fight all of them to like win over Jimbo and Ned.
You get them to be friends with you?
Yeah, you have to go get a package for Mr. Slave, which is clearly a vibrator. But once you get it, then you can use Mr. Slave as a summon once a day where he will literally just jump on enemies and take the whole enemy up his ass and and keep them in there. Early on in the game, you have to go around. I love that Timmy is your fast travel system. You have to go around town and find all of Timmy's fast travel signs. And then you can fast travel from Timmy sign to Timmy sign. I will say I did find it a little bit frustrating that you have to walk to a Timmy sign to then use it to fast travel to other ones.
Yeah, that's what's the annoying part. Like and there is some of them are closer together, but there's some where you have to go across a good bit before you can get to one.
Yeah, and in the second like 2/3 of the game, I would say the second, like after the first day of the game, like you're starting to get pretty over leveled where random encounters, thank fuck there's no random encounters. You see the enemies on the screen, whether they're the kids dressed as elves or they're the Nazi zombies or fucking whatever. Like you see the enemies on the screen and they're fairly easy to avoid. But yeah, like when you need to walk to a Timmy stop to be able to fast travel around the town and you accidentally get pulled into like a fight or two and the fights are easy, it can be just not the end of the world, but it's just a little bit frustrating. Like I wish you could just open up the map and fast travel anywhere Timmy goes.
Yeah,
instead of having to go in to find him.
And just open the map, press the button, it'll take you to that spot. But again, you have to go to another spot to go to another spot.
Yeah,
it does. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take what it is because it allows me to go from one corner of the map to another without having to traverse for like 5 minutes just to get across everything.
Totally. And I would say, honestly, like the first half of the game when you're playing it, it's so funny. And it's so fun to just explore this town that we've been watching on TV for so long that like I didn't fast travel because I wanted to just, you never know what you're going to find. Like you walk by the movie theater and the fucking guy that works the ticket booth, that guy that talks like this is just chirping you about how you can't come in and see the movie. And then fucking Al Gore sticks his head out from behind it. And then you go down to the sewers and you find Mr. Hanky and you find the crab people. And it's just like there's just little Easter eggs all over this game. Everywhere you go, you find these stupid little things.
Couple of the houses you go to, you open the door and it's a guy jerking off, or there's one guy screwing a horse, and then there's one it's a couple having sex, and they all freak out and run up and close the doors. And you can't. But like other houses, you can just open the house, go explore, and steal everything from the house.
Yeah, everything, and you can take like a dump in their bathroom and then take your poop out and use it as a weapon. Game.
Every time I went by a toilet, I made sure to poop so I could reload up on my shits.
Of course, that you can throw at enemies. Of course, yeah. And then 100%. Like the stupid thing, one of the other things it does is again going back to like the Easter eggs is I love when you go into any of the kids' bedrooms and you open their closet and it's just full of Easter eggs, like Butters. Oh fuck! Speaking of Butters, I love Butters. I love that, like, as you play through the game, you can unlock the ability to use Professor Chaos, and he just shows up as Professor Chaos. Yep. I fucking love Professor Chaos,
and you can go to Butters' Chaos lair.
Yeah, you actually get to go to his lair where General Disarray is there, and it's just like his grandma's storage unit or fucking something stupid like that.
What I really love is you can actually friend General Disarray, then you friend him again just as his normal self.
Yeah. And I love that you can like whenever you go into a business, you hear a song from the show playing. It could be like the montage song or fuck, what are some of the other songs? Where Were You When They Built the Ladder to Heaven? That stupid fucking song. Like some
Yeah.
of these dumb songs you hear when you go into the it's fuck me. It's just such a funny you get to go to like the police station and deal with that stupid redheaded cop. I love that guy.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I love the optional collectathon of the Chimpokemon, the collecting all the Chimpokemons. And they're
Yeah.
such stupid, crappy knockoff Pokemon.
Oh my god, it's so dumb,
I love
but
this
so
game.
good at the same goddamn time.
Oh, I love this game. Trying to think of what we haven't talked about yet. The stupid inventory system, fast travel. We could just talk about the jokes and stuff in this game forever. Oh, the end of the game. So if the only other, and actually this is probably honestly more of a actual criticism of the game I have compared to all the strap-ons, which still feels weird to say. In day 2, I think, when you're in the big fight in the school, you get like a chance. You get a choice at one point where you have to side with Cartman or Kyle. And then later in the game, you have to choose again. Am I siding with Cartman or Kyle? And it seems like it's setting up like a big plot twist. But then in day 3, you find out that Craig has the stick. And then you all work together to go and take down Craig anyway. And I will say, like, I guess minor criticism because I really didn't want to have to play the game twice, but I do wish your decision on if you want to decide with Kyle or Cartman had more of an implication than it does.
Yeah, me too. But again, and the thing is, it doesn't even lead to any of them being the big bad guy. Not even Clyde's the big bad guy.
No, and that again, spoilers. We're spoiling it. I love that you go to Clyde's house after you recruit the girls and stuff to help you, which I love that whole storyline too. That you have to get the girls to help
the goth kids. Then you gotta fight the vampire kids.
Yeah, you recruit like the whole town basically. And then you go to Clyde's backyard. He's got this massive treehouse and all these kids, and you fight your way up this treehouse. And then at the end, you don't even end up fighting Clyde. The final boss ends up being a Nazi zombie Princess Kenny who like drinks the green ooze. Well, and becomes like evil, and you have to fight your very own Princess Kenny at the end of the game.
Because Kenny makes a deal with the government so that he can get the stick of truth.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
I love that the government is coming along with it, and that's to me one of the brilliant things about South Park. The show is that the adults seem dumber than the kids. And in this game, it's so perfect because he's like massive government FBI. We're hovering up these aliens and everything. They're like, oh my God, that stick has to be so powerful. And they're just siding with all of you to play along with this stupid fucking game. And at the very end, they just throw the stick of truth into Stark's paw to get rid of it because they're like, it's too powerful for anybody. And I will say, like, I know they have no intentions to do it. I would love to see a sequel where somebody goes underwater and gets the stick back.
Oh, that would actually be sick.
It'd be so good. Oh my God. The whole part where I forgot about the whole part where you go up Mr. Slave's ass, literally.
Oh,
and you're you're fighting like Lemmy, like you fucking come across Lemmy Winks and shit in Mr. Slave's ass.
Yeah. Then there's the ghost of the cuttlefish.
Yeah. This is stupid. The stupidest video game I ever played.
Oh, that's where the bomb is. It's up Mr. Slave's ass. Yes. And you have to do like the surgery, and I hated that thing for so long.
Because you perform an abortion on Randy, and then to try to fool the government, and then you have to do it again inside Mr. Slave's ass to dissect the bomb or to defuse the bomb.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's so dumb, and you can mess it up so goddamn easy, and I fail 95% of the time when I'm doing that.
Oh God, it's so fucking. I know people have wanted this game covered forever, and now as we're getting close to wrapping this episode up, I'm like, this could be the worst episode of Remember the Game of all time, just because I'm listening to what we're saying, and I'm like, this all just sounds so stupid. And so disgusting, but that's what makes this game so brilliant. And if by some chance we haven't sold you on it yet, again, if you're not I don't, if you're an RPG fan who doesn't like South Park, if you disagree, by all means say so. Like, I don't think you'll get any enjoyment out of this game at all.
No, because again, like we've been saying, it's all about the funny. It's all about like the combat, even. The fact that your farts are part of your attack.
Yeah. Like Cartman's like the go-to spell I use for Cartman is he literally just bends over and pulls down his pants and like lights a Zippo and just you mash the button and he farts on the lighter and it's like casts fire. Like
Yeah.
if you don't think South Park is funny, and I know there's some people out there that feel that way. I don't understand it, but I know there's people out there that feel that way. If you don't think South Park is funny, you will get literally nothing out of this game.
No, but again, this game is purely made. I truly think for the fan base.
It is, and I'll go one step further and say that like I truly believe that like this and the Fractured Butthole, outside of stuff like Spider-Man and Batman and stuff, but like these are some of the best like licensed games based on like massive IPs ever created. As far as loyalty to the source material.
Well, yeah,
like it is. You said it. It's these games are better than a lot of episodes of South Park.
Well, it's Trey and Matt writing their own love letter to their own TV show and to gaming at exactly the same time.
Yeah. Like I binged this game over about 4 days while I was sick in a replay to get ready for this, and like I was fucking I would go downstairs and just tell Shaylee like this and this is what just happened in my game, and she thought it was stupid, but there was times where she was also like that is pretty funny, and I was like it is funny, like it is like fuck, oh my god. Anyways, I can't think of anything else. I feel like we've covered most of the basics.
I think so too.
I think we're good. Let's score this thing. I fucking I'm begging all of you. This game goes on sale all the time. It's like a $10 game. If you're a South Park fan, even if you can't stand RPGs, I truly feel like if you're an RPG fan that doesn't like South Park, this game is not worth your time. If you're a South Park fan that doesn't like RPGs, this game is worth your time.
Yeah,
I agree. So funny.
Oh, 100%. If you're not an RPG fan, but you love South Park, you can play this and still really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how the fuck to score this. How many seasons of South Park is there? Let's score it out of that.
As of right now, I think 28.
How many seasons of South Park? 26.
26, okay.
So let's do that. So let's do it. Out of 26, what do you want to score South Park The Stick of Truth?
Oh, 24.
It's a good score.
Yeah. It is almost a perfect game. I wish it was a little harder.
Yeah.
That is the only detractor I have in this game, and the abortion stuff. Just trying to do not that I'm against it. I'm just trying to do it. It's so hard.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm probably gonna give it sorry, what are we doing out of 26? Fuck. Yeah, I think like listen, if it wasn't for the humor, honestly, it's like a 16 or 17. It's a mediocre game. But that humor bumps it up to I agree. I'll it's bad radio, but I agree 24. Like it's so goddamn funny. Like I cannot wait. Like I said, I know we've tried our best to avoid talking about it. I do like the Fractured Butthole better. I like the Coon storyline better, and I like the tactical combat better. But they're both hilarious games. And I agree. I think 24 out of 26. This is just a fucking hilarious video game that everybody should play.
Like I like the story of the second one better, but I like the play style of this one better. It's
just so funny.
I like the RPG over the tactical.
It just keeps you guessing. Like you never know what stupid thing it's gonna throw at you next, and then before you know it, it's just. I think that's my favorite thing about it is playing it for the first time in like a decade. I couldn't remember what was coming next, and everything that popped up just made me laugh. And it's from stuff like when you like poisoning an enemy in this game is grossing them out, and then they actually puke, like Stan pukes when he tries to kiss Wendy. Yep. Like from that to lighting your farts on fire to use them as weapons, to being able to throw shit at each other, to using tacos to revive each other. It just goes on, and you never know what's coming, and it just always makes me laugh. So I agree. 24 out of 26. Fucking South Park: The Stick of Truth. Brilliant fucking video game.
100%.
Andre, what when you're not farting on your enemies, what are you up to these days? Where can people find your stuff?
You can find me most of the time over at youtube.com/@Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. Me and my co-host Melball, we review Japanese professional wrestling and some of the local independent scene here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We cover New Japan Stardom for our Japanese stuff, and then we also cover Force Pro Wrestling, Love Pro Wrestling, and a little bit of real Canadian wrestling here in Edmonton. So you can check us out there. I also do another show over at our local establishment. Our local establishment, where you can find them on Twitch and YouTube. You search up Our Local Establishment, where I do a show called Marvel Talk, where I talk all things Marvel. We review the seasons. We talk about the movies. We're introducing a new monthly segment called Marvel Talk Rebound, where we're going to go back to the beginning of the MCU and watch every movie and review it. So, yeah,
I love it.
We do that too. And then I just want to give a shout out to my boy Mike the Ref over at Backbreaker Video. Simulcast all of mine and Melball's stuff over there. So check him out. Give him a subscribe there too.
Yeah, Mike's a beauty. Yeah, and you can check the description of this episode for the links to that, dude. In 30 seconds or less, because I know it's not an MCU podcast. Have you watched Loki season 2? No spoilers.
Yes.
Did you like? I loved it. Did you like it?
Oh, it gave me all the feels.
Yeah, I thought Loki season 2 was great. And then quickly, have you seen the Marvels? I have not.
I have. We reviewed it on Our Local Establishment. I had a great time. I don't understand the hate this movie is getting. I understand there's some criticisms. I had them and I voiced them. But overall, great movie. Really good cast. I thought Brie Larson really upped your game in this movie. I really enjoyed it. And it's putting things into place for what's coming for the next couple of years of the MCU. I really enjoyed it.
Haters gonna hate, man. I like the MCU.
Oh, 100%.
I like being a nerd and just watching the MCU, which is why the fractured butthole is better. But we'll get there at some point down the road. Andre, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Sunday. I don't know if you're busy tonight, but your busy Sunday night to talk South Park: The Stick of Truth with me. I'm so glad we finally covered this game on the show. People have been asking for it forever, and I hope we did it justice. I love this fucking game.
Me too.
Hell yeah. And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Andre, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking South Park: The Stick of Truth. I love this game. Thank you, buddy. And of course, thank you to all of you for listening to this show. I should be saying it as a proper Canadian as we're talking South Park. Hey, thanks, buddy, for listening to our podcast. I really, the head coming off anyway. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Check out Andre's stuff. He's talking wrestling and shit. You can find all of the links in the description of this podcast. Show him some love. Tell him I sent you. It won't get you anything, but it would make me feel pretty good. And if you liked this show, listen, leave us a nice review, would you? I don't know what they do other than counter the bad reviews that we get, but they make me feel good. And I read them at night when I'm laying in the tub full of rose petals with the candle and the glass of wine. And, well, I do me, but I read them then. So leave me a good review and I'll read it and think about you the next time I'm in the tub. And if you want more of these, patreon.com/rememberthegame, baby. Subscriptions start at $3 a month. There's over 500 ad-free bonus podcasts waiting for you over there, and we drop 4 new ones every fucking week. It's about the best deal in the history of the internet, assuming you can stand the sound. Mister, I can't stand the sound of your voice. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. If you can handle my voice, check it out. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. I'm also over on Twitch whenever I have time. You can find me there at twitch.tv/rememberthegame. No charge. You can sub if you want, but I don't bother people for subs. I just want to play video games and talk to nerds. So come by and be a nerd with me. I'd appreciate it. You can see my nose finally. And told you about Andre's stuff. Told you about Patreon. Told you about Twitch. I have a P.O. box. You can find that address at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Just shoot me a letter, a postcard. Let me know where you're listening. I'm pretty slow, but I will eventually write back, and we can be friends. That's pretty cool. And I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to thank some patrons, and I'm going to shut this thing down. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. For all you patrons, we'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass, where I'll be talking about 10 games I really want to cover on this show in 2024. Game Patch will go live on Friday. We'll look at all the biggest news in video games, and we'll be back next week with a whole other slab of shows, including Remember the Game 275, which, assuming everything goes to plan, will be Mark McHugh and I taking another look at Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. What a banger. Take it easy, everybody. I'll talk to you all on the next one. Cheers, so long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as possible at the end of every episode of this show. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Doran, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Little Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Captain N, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed, D's Nuts, Galaxy, I think is what it says, it cut off, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Ballsack, Teabagger, Frosty Feet 492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd James, Madam Nudishish, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Mizuru, Juris, Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Eric James, Nick Amos, Mega Mav, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Leroy Westrich, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babinu, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam Wyatt the Surgeon, who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, Kayach, Jimothy, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Franklin Badge, Jugs Bad MK, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Colin Bollinger, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Wimp 15, I still don't know how the fuck to say that. Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, My Foot, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Chevy Boy 9211, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Maverick, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Wheel of Fish, AB Killen, Works for Me, Alexander Camps, Neil Cooper, Tom Houlihan, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Lucas Valadez, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Just Car Pranks, Solomon Soto, Rated Excellent, Darth Skywalter, Postman, WestGen, Nick Creature, Youngster TK, Adam Arnett, The Big Deal, Dr. Nightmare 23, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, This MF, Mario Galaxy, still hasn't reviewed Adam Blank, Beers of War, Because 19, Digital Dave, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrod, Von Hugendom II, Roger Stawbox, Pool Cleaner, Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Suffrage, Benjamin Atkins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill, aka Chipspot 2000, Mellow Yellow 8787, B Money, Hired Goons, Who, It's OG, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme, Chozorizo, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Raging Irish, Atrio Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Tornado, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Guy Who Does Things, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Glue Scoppin, Bula, Matt Zeus, Buy Me Bone Storm, Plow King, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Billy and the Clonosaurus, Elephant Cab, Scissorfist, Big Daddy Randall, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny 123, Austin from Past to Present Player Podcast, Lord State Puffed, Johnny Zubu 81, AJ McCurgy, Lotus, Philip Ramsey, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Alex McIntyre, S, Bearded Bastard, Adam Galaxy still hasn't reviewed Mario Blank, Eric Hopewell, Clockwork Orange These Nuts, Testicle, Testicle, I get it, David Schroeder, Theodore, Chicken Gizzards, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, Wilco, VOS Rager, Captain Steve N, Level Up Retro, and Cardigan Measures Wrestler. Maybe the best batch of shutouts I've ever heard, but I think it's because Shaylee's listening across the hall and I didn't want to look like an idiot in front of her, which I just ruined. Son of a bitch. Thanks so much for the support, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Talk to you on the next one. Screw you guys. I'm already home, but screw you guys.